All right, all right. Shut my cupboard door. Let's see if you guys start coming in. I'm gonna have to decide if I'm gonna go outside or not yet. Um, we'll see. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome, 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 everybody. Hey, Casimiro. We're getting ready to cover some things because we got Ida coming. And we have some issues because the northern eyewall is getting ready to cross into Louisiana right now. When was landfall said to happen? Landfall was going to be said to happen tonight, that they would have enough time and they would deal through the effects through Monday morning. Now the storm is sped up. And I predicted 2 days ago with Dwayne, and I should have came on air and said it, Cat 5 at landfall. I saw it before it was even a Cat 1, that the way that this storm was going to develop would be into a Cat 5. And we're getting to that point right now. We are, the northern eyewall is approaching. This storm, just are saying, change lives. This is not going to be a hurricane we've had. And I know we say that every single time. If you guys have followed me for a long time and know my hurricane coverage, you know we say that every time. In the way it developed, this, the people in Louisiana are going to need our help. This one is so big, I don't even know if they can stage appropriately to keep themselves. They may have to stay out of the usual areas that they're in. Now, I did create a Zello channel for all of you out there who are FRN fans who want to keep up with this. The Zello channel is where I'm pumping the information. So all the maps, all the updates, all the pictures, we're putting it there. And that is zello.com/Hurricane Ida updates. I will put that in the chat. Because I think that's important for everyone to know. There is a place where I am uploading it. There is a place where I am putting things. But here we are. We weren't supposed to see this for another 12 hours. What is that trend with hurricanes? What is that? This is a question we're going to ask each other this morning. Is it government involved? Is it a man-made storm? Because how come the last 3 hurricanes, they tell us, like yesterday, for instance, oh, we'll deal with the landfall tomorrow night. It's 9:30 Central Time, y'all. Nobody was expecting 9:30 Central Time. People thought they at least had till to this afternoon. They think they would start seeing, the outside feeder bands. No, that started because I went to bed at 2:00. Okay, last morning at 2 a.m. it was still a Cat 2. Now the pressure had deepened to where they were afraid that we would start going up. Now, as I said, I've been calling it a Cat 5 for days because I knew. This happens also every time. The National Hurricane Center is very, very, very conservative when it comes to their actual predictions. When they predict something, they go way lower than what it should be. Number one, why I think this is wrong is because death and damages can occur. Number one. Number two, why I think this is wrong is just tell the people. Just tell the people. even if it would cause but even last night on the I-10, no one could get through. I mean, it wasn't until 1 o'clock in the morning that roads even got clear where people could, make a chance to book it if they hadn't already. If I was them, I'd still leave now. This actually hits close to home for once. Not that it doesn't every other time because I'm involved, but as you guys know, we had to flee and we had to get out. And we're on a really nice golf course. I don't know if y'all can see that, but so I have someone having my chickens right now. That person's family is right in the eye of the hurricane in the bayou. So if anybody's getting hit, they'll be getting hit right now. We need to rethink how emergency management is done. I've done these hurricanes so many times. That's why I'm hesitating, and I apologize for new listeners who are coming in because we're just going to do some analysis. But we've done this so many times. Why can we not figure out how to implement better emergency operations plans? I have been involved personally with 5 hurricanes dispatching. Why can't we come up with better protocols? This is the problem. Okay, we can't keep just saying every time, because right now everybody will give this to a friend online who brought up this point. And I think to some degree she's right, competent all year round, COVID or not. But she was so worried about implementing vaccine passports in the city and creating this mandate that she didn't even think about what they were going to do, nor did they have time for contraflow. Now, contraflow doesn't always work. I need people to understand that too. The sheer amount of logistics of people that exist, you can't do contraflow. So that's why that wasn't necessarily an option. I have an issue. I just want to know what's really bothering me, why I'm sitting here pondering, thinking, and usually I'm not up this early, you guys, so this is a struggle bus for me, but this is the hurricane. Hello, Total Vagabonds. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome in. Why do they keep speeding up? Why are we told a certain time for landfall? The hurricane only moves X miles an hour. But here we are with the northern eyewall approaching landfall. And this is what I want to know. Now, I'm going to try, and I don't know if I can with you guys on, to try to pull up the latest update. We'll see. I don't know if this will work. We haven't had a public advisory since 7 a.m. And right now, I don't know why they're doing 3-hour updates when the eye is about to get here. Okay. Again, we all should have an issue with that. I don't know if you lost me or not, but what I was going to go look at to see if there was a new update from the NHC since 7 a.m. Hurricane protocol is once it gets within, 100 or so miles, especially in Louisiana, the mouth of the Mississippi River, we get hourly updates. Why do I have to wait half an hour? And then the update's going to be northern eyewall hits Louisiana. Like, what is going on here? What is the National Weather Service doing? Fair question. Well, see, because I have to move around because I don't have 2 devices, because I thought I would have a device charge, but you know how that goes. You wake up and the kids drain the device of which you had. Ready to use for hurricane coverage. I wasn't expecting to come on till tonight. If I would have known we would be here right now, I would have came on last night and updated you all and told you what was going to happen, that we would hit Cat 5 by landfall, that this is going to be a devastating storm like no one's ever seen on the anniversary, 16th anniversary of Katrina. And for Dwayne and I, for Dwayne and Scarlett, it is our fifth anniversary of working Harvey. At this time, during Hurricane Harvey, I had been up for 4 days dispatching. This day kind of messes with me and my PTSD. I'm not gonna lie. The flashbacks of all the dead, the flashbacks of the non-help, the flashbacks of just government incompetence, which we know exists because we've been in a pandemic for a year and we know the incompetence exists. We knew it existed before. So I do not have high hopes. It does take independent people, and that's why the civilian rescue and search model works, because it's voluntarism works. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I'm a big libertarian, is because voluntarism works. Forcing people to do something, forcing government to do something never works, but having people actually voluntarily do it works. Now, I know Cajun Navy is staging. They're the only civilian rescue group I know of so far. I did see some action with Florida SAR. So, and that's Florida Search and Rescue. Hopefully they're getting ready to get up and go over there. Now, certain parts of the panhandle will also be affected. Let's see what we got here for charge on my other device so we can see if I can. It's really bright, otherwise I would allow you to watch. And Mr. Tire's sleeping, so it's a shocking day, everyone. Everyone's sleeping in my home but me. All right, let's see what we can get. Now, I had been watching WGNO News. Thank you. I watch Sherman too. I feel like he would be very calming. WGNO News with Scott Piley. Now, they're doing wall-to-wall coverage. Now, obviously, since I'm mobile and at the campsite, I can't do screen share and all the fun things that we usually do during hurricanes, which is killing me. Okay, it's killing me. But we're going to do the best we can. What I think is going to happen here is this is going to be another level of oops, we should have did more, but we didn't. I really see that coming our way. This is getting touchy. Okay, so let's go look at what we've got. We got one update product. The elevated NOAA Seaman Station at Southwest Pass, Louisiana, reported a sustained wind of 102 and a wind gust of 116. Another elevated NOAA Seaman Station at Pilot Station, east near Southwest Pass, reported a sustained wind of 97 miles an hour and a gust to 121. It is about 40 miles south-southeast of Grand Isle, Louisiana, about 90 miles south-southeast of New Orleans, Louisiana. Maximum sustained winds at 150 miles an hour. We got 6 miles an hour to go to Cat 5, y'all. Where are the hurricane hunters? Well, that's a good question. Let's go try to find them. Let's go see where the hurricane hunters are at, because are they up in the air or are they not? Now, am I cutting out when I'm doing that? I just want to ask before I keep doing that, because that might be irritating. Am I cutting out when I'm going in between? I know you guys see me moving my finger and stuff, but do I actually cut out volume or am I still there? Because we need to find out where the hurricane hunters are. If they are, I'll try to get my other device. It doesn't have much left, but we'll do what we can. But I'm trying to see if I can at least trick the system to keep me out long enough so I can speak. Sweet. Let's go. All right. So we're going to go find the hurricane hunters. We're going to go to myfoxhurricane.com. So if anybody wants to follow along, we're going to follow along. My Fox Hurricane is a really good resource that has all the maps and models in one. Are they in there now? We had a reading of 933 millibars here. And they are saying that the eye is about 16 nautical miles across. And supposedly they're up in the air. No, I don't know. We can't guarantee. But it looks like they've dropped some dropsondes inside. What's the dropsonde information got going on? So it looks like they've dropped dropsondes inside of the storm at this point. I'm trying to see if I can pull up any other way so I can get video updates at the same time, because I need something else that's showing me, because the National Hurricane Center is going to be trash when we actually get to that moment. I know it. It's going to be anybody else will have this but them at that point. So let's see. Okay. Now, can you guys hear that? Or only I can hear it? Because this is pretty slick if you guys can hear it. I'm just wondering. We're going to find out if you get only me. All right. So I'm able to watch the Weather Channel at the same time now. So now we're in business, you guys. Little window on top. We're in business. Let's go. All right. So we are at, let's see what we've got here. And another thing that I wanted to talk about too, that I found very interesting and fascinating, was that the New Orleans. Hello, Joanne. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. The interesting thing about New Orleans is that they own the power company there. So it's not it's a public utility, but it's a legitimate public utility where the city of New Orleans will have to fix it. And most of Louisiana, they said, is set up that way as well, where the local municipality actually controls it. They're talking about generator safety right now. That's something that kills a lot of people. More people probably die from generators and the water that comes afterwards than the storm itself. Okay. And we're getting really close. And another interesting thing that I found this time, if people have watched Weather Channel in the past, right? And they have that little information on the side that tells you about Ida. It'll be like, Ida is X amount of miles away. They're not doing that this year. I don't know why. Maybe they'll do it as the eyewall crosses. But these are the questions why I wonder, is the storm man-made? Why is it hitting almost 12 hours early? Why has this happened the last 3 hurricanes, including Laura? Why? Their predictions aren't that off. And I'll tell you that right now. Also, energy also controls Louisiana, which is interesting. So we'll see what happens. Ooh. Look at Grand Island. Ooh. Oh. Water's already coming in Grand Isle under the houses, the easterly flow wind. And the worst is to come. So the next hour, they said the eyewall will come in. So we've got about an hour. Does he really? You know what? And I follow Mike. And I haven't watched his program. But The way that last night it hadn't even it had just dropped pressure, but the wind had not increased. How hard would it be in a drop zone? You know, that's the technology that they drop down to check. Ooh, that's a big camper. To check on the weather. What if there was, you know, a few little barium and chemicals in there? We know it works. I mean, at a certain point, as a person who follows hurricanes, I just start to become questionable. This ain't my first rodeo. This ain't my first hurricane I've covered. Because now we're talking 12 to 16 feet storm surge in Grand Isle. Yeah, you can't survive that. I do not understand anybody who stays when we know that it's that bad. No one can survive a 15-foot wall of water. I mean, a few people do. Don't get me wrong. A few people do. But it's not likely. So we're going to start to see reports coming in. You know, I haven't heard anybody talk about damage yet, but it's coming. I know. It's the anniversary of Katrina. That's what trips me out the most. 16 years to the day. And yes, they say it won't be that bad. But here's my issue. Every storm is different. Yeah, we don't have anything. 930 millibars, 150 at the 9 a.m. We have 15 minutes to the next advisory, but they're not telling us where it's at. Again, that's when I have a problem. Why aren't they telling us where it is? You always get coordinates of a hurricane. And Weather Channel always puts, 100 miles from the, you know, mouth of the Mississippi. Oh, poor Casimiro. They work Casimiro hard. Hopefully you get that paper to compensate for your time. But I think something's going on, you guys, because they keep hitting Louisiana. Now, it could just be with the grand solar minimum. We're starting to get to that point where we're noticing the areas that will become uninhabitable. That could be. We have seen so much destruction in that southern Gulf Coast. It's like unlike anything anyone's seen. So is it that we're getting to the point where we just can't maintain life down there? And I don't mean to say that lightly, but at a certain point, you have to decide how many times you're going to rebuild. We've had this conversation, all of us have before, who are here today. I mean, there could be a few new people out here, but if you've been around for a while, we've had this conversation. And I mean, Bonnie, yes, to some degree, yes, and to some degree, no, because we've never lived in a time that had weather such as this. We have the grand solar minimum going on. We have a solar wind that had 110,000 mile per hour speed coming in at the time that this was developing. Now, the one thing to know about the grand solar minimum and this cosmic ray flux and solar wind that comes in is that when it comes in, it heats up the ocean and creates an albedo effect. What is the albedo effect? Albedo effect is when the moisture pushes up into the upper atmosphere. Now, how does a hurricane develop? Very similarly. So if you would, those things to me explain why we went from earlier this week, it's only going to be Cat 1. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, they said. To now, we're going to hit Cat 5 at landfall, and I don't care what anyone says because they're keeping it at 150 because they're afraid to tell everybody that a Cat 5 is going to come down on them until it hits land and or afterwards, like they did in, what was that, Michael in Florida a few years ago. We all knew it was a Cat 5. Scarlett called it out on air as a Cat 5. But did the Weather Channel and National Hurricane Center do? not till like 3 months afterwards. So this is what I have a problem with. The transparency in these organizations does not exist. We should have, well, now dates and times, you're right. That is true. I want to know what's speeding up the last 3 hurricanes. And I mean to astronomical levels. Like the hurricane would have had to be moving 70 to 80 miles an hour to speed up that fast. Last night we were still 400 miles from the mouth of the Mississippi River. The thing moves like 15 miles an hour. How is it there? Oh, it is close to Cat 5. We're only 6 miles an hour away. And I'm saying it's Cat 5 right now. And it's been Cat 5. At least till they made the 4 declaration. I know it's been a 5 since then. And they once it went up to 150, it had been Cat 5. And I did make that prediction on the book the other day, but I forgot to put it out somewhere that you guys can see it or do it on air so that it can be documented. Because people think I'm crazy. They're like, it's not going to be no Cat 5. Where'd you see Cat 5? I know how to read the models at this point. You know, I've actually been thinking about going to meteorology school, but I'd probably get kicked out because I talk about the grand solar minimum one time and they'd be like, nope, we can't do that. Gotta go. So there is that. Now, the people that they've got set up, as soon as the weather hits 35 miles an hour, there is no more emergency services. Okay. The state of Louisiana has made that very clear. So if you are staying, you need to be prepared. I just cannot tell you how much destruction is coming everyone's way. Thanks, Casimiro. You the best. You the best. You the best. I'm not the one who climbed up Sunflower Mountain. I'm just saying. Mr. Casimiro. Got you. Thanks. That makes me feel good. I try to do the best that I can. And I only try to tell you people the things. I was talking about last night, Susan, not this morning when it's 35 miles an hour. But even if that was the case, but it wasn't last night, the wind speed hadn't increased to that point, and we were 400 miles from the Mississippi. So yes, once we got to 35 miles an hour, that's true. But when we were expecting landfall, all the agencies, all the news networks said we were expecting a landfall Sunday night. It's Sunday morning, y'all. It's Sunday morning. It's not Sunday night. No, he just did not. The dude on the Weather Channel just said later today we'll have the eyewall hit. We're 65 miles from that, and if we have a forward motion of 35 miles, that's 2 hours. He just said an hour. This is what I'm telling you. Like there's something strange. Something strange. Why is it moving so fast? The last 3 hurricanes, it's done that. Where before we're predicted to have the landfall. Okay, so now we have an extreme wind warning for Jefferson, LaForce, and Terrebonne parishes with the cities of Estelle, Houma, and Woodmere until 10:45. Yeah, 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yes, Holly, right there. Boom, boom, just like Dorian. Dorian sat on that reef. There was a reef that pulled in cold water that would. So where it ended up sitting is a reef in the Bahamas that pushed out cold water, which would then kept the hurricane in place. and just destroyed the Bahamas because we also dispatched there. It was one of the last hurricanes we had dispatched in. That one was devastating. That one also had like a 15, 20-foot wave of water that came through. This is what they are going to expect. Yeah. And I wonder if they aren't dropping things to the drop zones, Holly. That was my just question. Now, progression can slow, Susan. That is true. It all just depends on what the storm is doing. Is there a shear in the air? Where in the upper level wind flow is it traveling? All questions that could slow down progression. But what super sped it up? Because let's say even it was 35 miles an hour. We were 400 miles to the mouth of the Mississippi last night. You would need 3 hours almost to go 100 miles. Okay. So we would have need 12 hours to even get close to where we were. And we haven't hit 12 hours yet. Because they were talking, I had woke up maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, just popped over at it real quick. Nothing was happening. So between 4 and 5 a.m., number one, the storm exploded. Forward speed is faster, and now we're hitting landfall 12 hours earlier than what they said. That's what I don't understand. They never said Saturday night into Sunday morning. They said Sunday night into Monday morning. And now that's changed. And here we are. And like I said, what's up with Weather Channel not putting where the storm actually is? That's a usual definite feature. We don't have that. Let's see what time it is. We got 5 minutes until hopefully 10 o'clock. I'll go see if the advisory is there right now. All right, let's see. All right, we got the advisory, everybody. of extremely dangerous Category 4 Ida nearing the southeastern coast of Louisiana. Catastrophic storm surge and hurricane force winds moving onshore. This is the 10 a.m. summary. We are at 28.8 degrees north, 90 degrees west. We are 60 miles west-southwest of the mouth of the Mississippi River. About 85 miles south of New Orleans, Louisiana. Maximum sustained winds at 150 miles an hour. Minimum movement northwest for 320 degrees at 13 miles an hour. Okay, so if we're 95 kilometers west-southwest of the mouth of the Mississippi,
which Huma will be a little bit closer than that. Oh, Red's calling. We can't answer Red. We're going to send Red a message.
okay, hold on. Coming back, everybody. Sorry about that. Red was calling. We're going to go back to the 10 a.m. update. Storm surge warning west of Intracoastal City, Louisiana has been discontinued. Storm surge warning is in effect Intracoastal City, Louisiana to the Alabama-Florida border. Why would they put that back in there? Hurricane warning is in effect for Intracoastal City, Louisiana to the mouth of the Pearl River. Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, and the metropolitan New Orleans. Tropical storm warning is from Cameron, Louisiana, west to Intracoastal City, Louisiana, from the mouth of the Pearl River to the Alabama-Florida border. The discussion. At 10 a.m., the eye of Hurricane Ida was located by reconnaissance aircraft and National Weather Service Doppler radar near latitude 28.8 north, longitude 90.0 west. Ida is moving toward the northwest near 13 miles an hour. A slightly slower northwestern motion should come through by this evening. A turn toward the north should occur by Monday morning, followed by a slightly faster northeastward motion by Monday night into Tuesday. On the forecast track, the center of Ida will make landfall on the coast of southern Louisiana with the hurricane warning area within the next few hours. Ida is then forecast to move well inland over portions of Louisiana, western Mississippi, Monday and Monday night, and move across the Tennessee Valley on Tuesday. Reports from NOAA and the Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicated that the maximum sustained winds are near 150. Ida is an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Some slight additional strengthening is still possible before Ida moves onshore along the Louisiana coast. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 50 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend 150 miles. An elevated NOAA Seaman station at Southwest Pass recently reported a sustained wind of 105, and a wind gust of 121. A NOAA National Ocean Surface Tide Gauge in Louisiana reported a water level 5.6 feet above mean and higher water, which is an approximation of inundation in that area. The latest minimum central pressure reported by Air Force Hunter reserves, 9.33 millibars. So it's getting wild, y'all. It's getting wild. I know, and I thought that. Oh, wow. I didn't know even England got hurricanes, but I guess they could. But they'd have to make it through, what is that island out there? Off the coast of Spain. I can't even think of what it's called. But there is an ocean out there that always there's a little land feature that always gets hit. And they have to make it over that, and they usually dissipate because the water's cold. But I wonder, with the stopping of the North Atlantic Oscillation, could we see hurricanes in England again? You guys don't have thunderstorms out there? What? Oh, I almost died, y'all, the other day. Okay, let's talk about 70-mile-an-hour winds and what they can do and why this hurricane is no joke. The other day, there's a thunderstorm, right? Thunderstorm, comes through, it's rain, it's fine, it's great, it's fine, right? Okay, so it was fine until it wasn't. Because I'm in here with my family and my mom. I'm gonna see if it's too bright to go outside. It might be. But it's really nice outside, so I just want to go outside. But I'm here with my mom, and the storm comes. Oh, it's bright for me. Is it bright for y'all? I can't see you. It's so nice outside. Wind might be too much. So I'm sitting outside, right? And the whole camper starts shaking, left to right, left to right, left to right. And then the whole thing got picked up. The whole thing got picked up, and it moved a foot, you guys. And I'm not joking. It broke the boards underneath all my stabilizers. We literally came off our stabilizers. I've never dealt with anything like that before. And it was the scariest thing in my life. And that was only 70-mile-an-hour winds. So I cannot imagine having 110-mile-an-hour winds, 150-mile-an-hour winds for extended amounts of time. I'm trying to stay away from the sun. Okay. But isn't it beautiful, you guys? It's a golf course, so it's really pretty. So, and then I'm right off the driving range, but I don't get any balls because it goes But this is my new home until we get our home. So let's see. We're gonna watch. I'm listening to what Homeboy is saying on the Weather Channel real quick. He was like, the only bright side is that this is happening when the sun is up. Okay, but y'all were saying it was going to hit at night last night. See, this is the problem that I'm having. And this is what I'm going to keep pushing about this, because there's something not right. And I haven't figured out what it is yet. I haven't figured out how they do it yet. But there's a way they do it. 911 is almost already down, you guys. 42,000 people already without power. Hasn't even came yet. 911 is already down. Back in the day, I would have already been activated. Dwayne and I are trying to come up with a team, but it's hard. I know a lot of people. I was asked back to the team I was on before. I'd rather die first and go try to swiftwater rescue someone by myself before I would go back to that. That is trash, y'all. Like, I won't do it. I won't do it. I personally am in northern Minnesota right now, but I have dispatched in many hurricanes. And so when we do hurricane coverage, we all come around and we all sit and we talk about it. And there's a lot of regulars here. I guess I'm a little conspiratorial. Um, but something is not sitting right with this. And they're talking about it might level out at 150. Do they even understand what that means when they're saying this? Um, do you think they understand what they're saying when they're like? We all just need to pray for the people of New Orleans, the people of Louisiana, that whole Gulf Coast right now, especially the March and the Bayou. I've seen that tropical disturbance off the coast of New Jersey. Now, what's up with that? That's not the remnants of Grace or whatever it was it? This is something new, right? Also, another question. Are we seeing storms develop off this coast due to the slowdown of the North Atlantic Oscillation? Um, that makes me wonder. How can you predict a level like that? Well, the modeling and when you put in like the Go 16 like IR, it's hard for me to explain like my process because in my brain I just look at it and I could tell you, but I have to explain it to you because you don't know. So when you look at something like the Go 16 IR, which is the infrared inside the storm, it shows you the water vapor levels and the cloud heights as well as temperature. When you start to see the cloud tops and temperatures get cold and or warmer is what I'm thinking they're seeing. They're seeing that the cloud tops aren't getting as cold and deep. They believe that that will stave off the storm because there's no upper level currents or pressure that's moving it out of the way. Because on the other side, we have that storm Nora that's going up the Baja Peninsula. So, I mean, there is. Planes do go through the storm. The hurricane hunters do. Now, do they have other planes or drones go through the storm? We don't know. We do not know. Ooh, no, I haven't heard that. But like I said, we haven't gotten good updates from the NHC either. The 10 o'clock update is trash. Oh, and when are they going to say we get our next update? Let me go look at that because right now it should be hourly, if not half hourly, but we're not getting that. Next advisory at 1 p.m. You guys, I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. In my history of doing hurricanes, I have never seen when the hurricane is getting close to land that they are doing 3-hour updates. For what? For what? People's lives are on the line and depend on these updates. News agencies use these updates. Emergency management operations centers use these updates. We about to have the eyewall hit in less than 2 hours, and we don't get no update till 1 o'clock. Are they trying to kill people? I'm wondering at this point, are they trying to kill people? Which we already know they always do, but like, is this very deliberate this time? And I mean very deliberate. This makes no sense to me. And I am a person who has done this so long that I could probably forecast and do this in my sleep. What is going on? I'm a little speechless. And y'all know I don't get speechless very often. But what are they doing? Once you usually get even like 100, even 200 miles from the mouth of the Mississippi, when you get storms down there, you start getting hourly updates because things change so quick. You might get other forecast advisories added in, but not this, not this. Now they're expecting at the time it hits 130 knots with 160 knot gusts. So, I mean, Katrina only had 125 mile an hour wind, just to let you know. Now, Postel, yeah, yeah, dude just brought up a good point. He was like, this should be called like a 4.75 because it's might as well be a 5. But I don't think it matters. I think they focus too much on the Cat 5 because when people hear Cat 5, they hear ultimate destruction, right? I think they need to just focus that it is basically a 5. What the hell is the difference in 6 miles an hour? At that point, it doesn't. You might as well treat it. Now they're already saying that the winds are stronger than Katrina. They have not had a hurricane even as strong as this since Katrina. They have not had a storm this strong. They just said, I think they said that 1930. So this is the third time in history that this would occur. Um, message me red bag because she did call. Yeah, and remember the levee system. And I don't mean to like laugh or smile about this, but this is messed up. This is like sick. The levee system is only set up for a Cat 3. So the hurricane mitigation system that they have, only Cat 3. There might be 30 hours of tropical storm force winds. That's 45 miles an hour plus. 45 to 76 miles an hour, I believe, is tropical storm. And they said that their motto in New Orleans is the first 72 hours are on you. So if you can't survive 3 days, it shouldn't be there. The flooding is also a concern. Tennessee is going to get reflooded in the area that was just devastated by that creek. That's a big deal. Louisiana was already saturated before this came. They were already having flooding the other night. I'm just, I don't even know what to say. What I do know what we're going to say is we're going to do this. Okay. I'm going to do some more research. We're going to watch. I'm going to come back as the eyewall comes out, as we start crossing that first northern eyewall. I'm going to go try to pull up a bunch of local news, see what I can find out, see what they're saying. Okay. Most of you guys are able to get notifications. If you don't get notifications, you can go to freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, click the bell, and then you'll be notified anytime we go live. Because I need to do a regroup on this and figure out what the game plan is going to be as it comes in and where we're going to get our information from as this gets worse. Because apparently our normal sources of information, nope, no one cares. We don't even get the regular information. And no advisory until 1:00. I have such a hard time with that. When it's this close, it's supposed to be every hour. How did this even happen? How does this even happen? How does this occur? How did we get 12 hours earlier for landfall? And we're moving forward at, they said, what is that? 13 miles an hour? It's been 13 miles an hour since last night. So that's all I'm trying to say is how are we still here? How are we already ready for landfall? I mean, I hate to be conspiratorial like this, but I've done hurricanes so long that when everybody's telling you it's supposed to be tomorrow night, Sunday into Monday, and Sunday morning, here we are, and the eyewall is crossing. What happened? What happened? How'd it get here so fast? It makes you wonder, because like I said, it would take, at 13 miles an hour, it would take 10 hours, a little less than 10 hours, but it'd take a good 7, 8 hours to make it 100 miles. Last night, it was 4 hours, 400 miles from the mouth of the Mississippi. How would it get there? Let's really just think about that math real quick. Storm has increased. 400 miles away from the mouth of Mississippi. 13 miles an hour. Now the eyewall's getting ready to hit within the next couple hours, they say. No, y'all. No. That is not how this works. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to figure out how this happened. We're going to keep following this. Like I said, I'm going to go check out some local news. We're going to regroup. And we're going to come back closer to the time that the eyewall is coming, and we're going to try to start pulling in reports. I'm going to see if I can hook up some of my civilian channels so I can start getting some intel from civilians down there, see what they're talking about, see what they're seeing. Check the FRN Facebook page And again, check Zello.com/Hurricane Ida updates. I'm going to add it in the chat again because I think this is going to be the most important. And you guys can talk to me there. If you download this app, you also can just listen over the computer. But if you download this app, you can talk and we can chit chat. We also have a Freedom Revolution Network channel there where we can all talk. That might be a good place to go because up until now, that's where I've been posting all of my maps, all of my updates, all of the National Weather Service forecast advisories. I know I should be doing it somewhere else, but right now that's the easiest place I have to dump. So if you guys want to follow me while I'm not on air, do that. That's how we're going to do this. So go to that, Zello.com, Hurricane Ida updates, join. It is a great app. There's a lot of different groups out there, lots of civilian rescue groups, especially if you guys want to be able to like listen into some dispatch, listen into what's actually happening on the ground. Zello is going to be a really good place for all of you to go. So with that being said, I'm going to do some more research. We've been on air for almost an hour. We've talked about things. We've brought ideas up. I'm just reeling off this, you guys. I don't even know what to say. That's why I just have to like wrap it up for now and come back with a new angle because what is happening? What is going on? 911's already down. We're not even in the storm. 42,000 people without power. Storm ain't even got here yet. There's a lot of different people who will be covering it live on the ground. We will find those people. I know Reed Timmer is supposed to be in Huma. I don't know if he's going to stay in Huma. If he stays in Huma, I swear to God, you guys, we all just have to bow down to the God that is Reed Timmer because he has no fear. I don't know about 15-foot storm surge. I mean, maybe if I was like in a giant concrete building that I knew couldn't wash away or something, like, I don't know. It'd be really sketch. We're going to find out who and what's covering it. We're going to see what we hear from the ground. I'm going to see if we hear any other narratives that are different, because I also think that's important at this time. What is the local news saying? We know what the Weather Channel is saying. They're not saying much. They're not even giving us how far the hurricane is away. National Weather Service isn't saying much. They're not giving us updates, but every 3 hours. There is I swear, a rule with the National Hurricane Center. I'm not even joking. I remember when Dr. Nab, who's on the Weather Channel, usually does his little speeches. He talks about, because he was the head of the National Hurricane Center, Nab usually talks about how when you get so close to an area, you start doing hourly updates so that everybody can be involved. Why isn't that happening this time? I will also wonder about the shelter situations. Now, last year they weren't as weird about it because we didn't even have the vaccine last year. But this year I wonder, especially in a place like Louisiana that has vaccine passports, they got to show that to get in the shelter? Got to show that to get aid? We're going to see it, and we're going to find out real quick if that's the case. And I have a feeling it might. Now, so far we had heard from, I don't know who it was from, but Mr. Tyre heard it last night, and he said that they weren't doing that. But do we trust them? Do we trust them? I don't think we do. I trust no one. After working in these hurricanes, after working with FEMA, getting my guys shot at in Port Arthur, Texas during Hurricane Harvey. Oh yeah, government, remember Port Arthur? Yeah, I do. They don't want anyone to be saved, is the bottom line. Now, good old boys in Cajun Navy might be able to pull something together because they're in Louisiana. But if they all get wiped out before and they didn't stage good enough and they didn't pick places that were out far enough to stage, they can't help either. With the way this storm is set up, that could be possible. There also could be a chance if they staged out too far, they won't be allowed back in. This also concerns me. So I see Steve Lookner just went on. Let him know that the Freedom Revolution Network sent you if you go over there with him, because he'll keep on the coverage for a little while longer. Like I said, my coverage isn't as good this year because I just don't have my computer. But by the time I come back on, I will have my second device, and we're going to be getting ready for landfall. So let's get ready for that, everybody. So I appreciate you all here being with you. Being here with you. Yes, I appreciate being here with you because I'm glad you guys tuned in. But also, I will be back as soon as possible. Once I get a little bit more information, once we know it's getting closer to landfall, we're all going to have a little powwow party together. So thank you for tuning in to the Freedom Revolution Network's coverage of Hurricane Ida. We will be back in a little bit with more information, more analysis, and hopefully a few more reports from the ground to see what we're hearing, see what's going on. Maybe I'll be able to show you a few pictures and things that we're seeing from the ground. We'll be here. This storm is going to be one to remember. There's no chance of this falling apart now like other storms. Everybody's always like, oh, well, it'll fall apart by the time it gets to us. If you're on the coast of Louisiana, it's not. And people don't remember. The last storm before this was Katrina. It's 2005. It's a really long time ago. Storm before that, 1930s. They truly aren't prepared. They do get these tropical waves and rain, but hurricanes hitting this area or close to is a new phenomenon. And having the eye go over Louisiana, absolute new phenomenon. 3 reported times in history. So the questions that we have after today's show, until the next, when I come back here in an hour or so. How'd the storm move so fast? If it's only going 13 miles an hour. Okay. And less than 6 hours ago, it was 400 miles away. Okay. Number one. Number two, why aren't we getting any information about how close the storm is when they're saying the northern eyewall is approaching? Okay. And what is going to happen when this Cat 5 hits? I saw a number on Weather Channel, Pam, from the Weather Channel that put the map up from Energy, 42,000 customers already. Maybe there are 750 units, but I saw 42,000 customers without power already. And 911 was already almost down. This is why Zello, this is why civilian rescue groups, Cajun Navy, CTEX Navy, all of the groups that do this are so important because look, storm isn't even here. This is why the work we did was so important as civilian rescuers because look, the storm isn't here. 911's already down. What's everybody supposed to do? Who are you going to call? They don't come out after 35 miles an hour wind anyway. But right now in a lot of places, there's 35 mile an hour winds. And you can't even call. Hope you don't need to have a baby. Hope you don't need anything. Because you're done. This is a scary thing. And I don't think people understand. This isn't a game this time. This storm is going to be like a Harvey, like a Michael, one that is going to have such an impact that people will never forget. Dwayne is fine. He's just working. We were supposed to go on air last night, but I figured with it hadn't updated. The storm was still sitting in the same spot. We hadn't got any increased forward motion. We hadn't got any increased strength. I just figured we'd wait it out till the morning and then start doing coverage. Little did I know when I just popped my eyeball open for a second to be like, what's going on with hurricane? Northern Eyewall is approaching. So I was like, let's get up and get on air. So with that being said, everybody, come back and join me in a little bit. Well, I'll take this journey together. In the meantime, you can join Zello.com, chit chat with me. I am there, Scarlet Anonymous, the Scarlet Anonymous. So you can just search and find me, or search and look for the channel. Like I said, Hurricane Ida updates. You can go to Zello.com/Hurricane Ida updates. You can listen from a computer without signing up. Otherwise, you need the app. And it's like a walkie-talkie. So it's super easy, super simple. We appreciate it. Is Texas, is Texas News Studio on? That's good. That's good. I know also Steve Lookner's on right now with Agenda Free TV. Y'all can check him out while I'm not on. But we'll be back. Oh, Zebra. Hi. All right. Join our channel. I've been on there for years too. Join our channel. We have a Hurricane Ida update channel. Join us there. I'll be adding more updates throughout the day. I'll be adding a lot of my stuff there. And we can chit chat there too in the meantime while we're not on air. Let's see what Dwayne's doing. Oh, Tim, everybody. Y'all, Tim got the COVIDs, y'all. Poor Tim. So he said he is doing better, but he has been sick. I will put it in the chat here again. It is Zello.com/Hurricane Ida updates. I got a good one for this channel. And we usually make different channels for each hurricane, but we do also just have a plain Freedom Revolution Network channel. I have checked out James. I have. So I have. I'm going to check him out. It's James Morales, right? Who does that, the Weather Network. I'll check out what he's doing. We'll check out all that, and we'll be back in a little bit because we got more to talk about, and the storm will be starting to roll in at that point. So with that being said, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you on Zello, or I'll see you when I come back. From the land of 10,000 lakes, good morning, everyone.